Have you ever wondered what life at Tottenham might look like in 10 years' time? Well, you don't have to imagine anymore, because thanks to Football Manager 2024, I have simmed 10 years into the future and have all of the information on Spurs' future, including what trophies they won, where they finished in the league, what players they sold and signed, everything you can imagine at my fingertips, and I'm going to run through all of it in this video. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you do enjoy. I would be more than happy to do more of these if they go down well. I am really looking forward to seeing what happens with Tottenham over the next 10 years up until 2034. So do subscribe and like the video if you enjoy, and we may do another one of these in the future. So we all know the situation with Spurs now. We know who is in charge, Ange Postecoglou. We know Daniel Levy is the chairman. We know that we haven't won a trophy since 2008. But if we have a look at the year 2034, in particular on the date the 20th of May 2034, so just under 10 years time from now, what does the club look like? So the year is now 2034. You can have a look at some of the, I guess, important stats when it comes to stadium capacity, ticket prices. I don't believe the average ticket price is still £65 in the year 2034. I firmly believe that will have gone up a lot in the next 10 years. In reality, the capacity is still 62,000. An average season ticket price is still about right for that. The interesting information about Spurs on a whole is on the left-hand side here. You can see that the current manager in 10 years' time, in 2034, is West Ham's current manager, Julian Lopetegui. He is the current manager of Tottenham, which is just insane to think about. I don't think any of us could imagine that he would ever manage Tottenham. So yeah, it's really interesting to see that. And you can see underneath that, the captain of the club is someone called Bobby Stojanov. Don't ask me, I have absolutely no idea, but it's really nice to see that Pat Matassar is the vice-captain. So we have a familiar face in the squad now that still plays for the club 10 years from now. That is amazing to see. So, what about the squad itself? Have we made any significant signings between now and 2034? Do we bring anybody into the club that is going to help push us to that next level and win silverware? So, if we look into the summer of this season, so the 2024 going into 2025 campaign, we can see that we spent £189 million on signings that summer. We brought in the likes of Trevor Chalobah. We brought in Man City's Oscar Bobb. We brought in a load of other players that I've never heard of really before. Thomas Lemar from Atletico Madrid. Nicolas Gonzalez for Fiorentina. We spent a lot of money, but we also got rid of a lot of players in this theoretical summer as well. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg went to Bournemouth for £16.5 million. Ben Davies finally left. He went to Marseille. Sessegnon went to Monaco. Emerson Royal went to Porto. It is crazy, some of the clubs that have popped up to take our players. Joe Rodon to Sporting. A lot of the youngsters left as well, which is really interesting. Iago Santiago, Tyrese Hall, Alfie Devine. They all left the club in the summer that we are experiencing now. So that is a really interesting one to have a look at. You might be wondering, okay, so you've simmed 10 years into the future. What was the most Tottenham ever spent on a signing in that time? Well, I have the answer for you. Obviously, we know in the past that Spurs have forked out quite a lot of money for the likes of Richarlison, Tanguy and Ndombele, but we did exceed that with one player in particular, but it took until the 2027 season. On the 1st of February, so it was transfer deadline day in the year 2027, we signed Ansu Fati from Barcelona for £73 million initial fee, rising to £92 million. It was a big deal. And yeah, the player that we were linked with last summer, who everybody thought we were going to be signing on loan, did eventually join Spurs, but not for another 3 years from now. Insane. And in that season as well, you can see Radu Dragusin left. Manor Solomon as well. They're the two that we know from now that left in 3 years. Okay, I know you're all wondering, and the big question is, did Tottenham win any trophies in the next 10 years? I have some good news and I have some bad news. The answer is yes. Tottenham did win trophies between 2024 and 2034. The bad news is we didn't win the Premier League. As you can see, the highest we finished over the next 10 years was actually 3rd place. It says the last time we came runners-up was 2017. And we haven't added any winners' medals to that tally, but we finished 3rd in 2027, 2029, 2031 and 2033. But We need to look down the list to see where Spurs did actually have success. We finally won a trophy, and the first time we did following this present moment that we are in is in 2025 when we won the Europa Conference League. That's right, we beat German side Freiburg 2-0 in 2025 with the goals coming from Nicolo Gonzalez and Dejan Kulusevski to hand Tottenham their first silverware since 2008. And then if that wasn't good enough, a year later we won the Europa League. So we got qualification into the Europa League by winning the Conference League against Freiburg, and we went all the way to the final of the Europa League the following year, and we beat Atletico Madrid in the final on the 20th of May 2026 with Nicolo Gonzalez scoring again and Joshua Zirkzee, the man who has just joined Manchester United, getting the winning goal after Mason Greenwood scored Atletico Madrid's goal as well. Crazy, I know. But was that the extent of it? Did Tottenham win any other trophies? Yes, we did. We won the Carabao Cup twice over the next 10 years. First time being in 2027 when we beat Ipswich 1-0 in the final at Wembley, with Zirkzee getting on that score sheet again to hand Spurs their first League Cup since 2008, so 19 years since their last victory in the competition. And then Spurs are the current holders of the trophy, where I've stopped simulating the seasons on the 20th of May 2034. Tottenham have just won the Carabao Cup again, beating Manchester United 2-0 in the competition, taking it away from Manchester City, who won it in 2023. And you could see some of the other winners there. Palace won it, Newcastle, Norwich, Brentford, West Ham. It was shared around. Nobody was winning it time after time. I'd love to see that in the league across the next 10 years. It would be insane. Now, I know you must be wondering, what about some of Spurs' players? Did Heung-min Son win any trophies? Did Harry Kane finally get his hands on silverware? Did Mikey Moore win the Ballon d'Or? Well, Harry Kane retired at 36 years old in the year 2031. He did not leave Bayern Munich after he joined them from Tottenham in 2023, and he actually ended up winning 11 trophies during his time there. During his 180 appearances for the club, Bayern Munich and Harry Kane won the Bundesliga consecutively for 6 years between 2024 and 2030. He also won the DFB Pokal in 2029 and the German Super Cup twice in 2025 and 2027. So Harry Kane's trophy drought finally ended. He is remembered as a legend of football who won plenty of silverware in his time, and I'm sure that's exactly what he is hoping for in the remaining years of his career in real life. What about Heung-min Son then, Tottenham's current captain? Did he manage to win any silverware with the club? Well, his career took an interesting turn actually. So he stayed at Tottenham until 2026 and then he joined Liverpool. Stayed at Liverpool for 2 seasons and then he went to Benfica. And he actually stayed at Benfica from 2027 all the way until 2030, so an extra 3 years. After that, he went on to become a coach, so in my Football Manager save, I could technically hire him to help me in the team that I'm competing with at the moment. He could be a good face to have on the coaching staff, that's for sure. Did he win any trophies with Tottenham? Well, he stayed just in time to win the Conference League in 2025 before leaving, so he missed out on those Carabao Cup winners' medals. He missed out on the Europa League medals, but he did win a few Portuguese titles with Benfica during his time over there. I guess he'll settle for that. What about the youngsters then? We all regard Mikey Moore, who is just about to turn 17, as one of the hottest prospects at Tottenham Hotspur. But did he live up to his reputation and his potential? Well, we've got to remember that in 2034, he is still only 26 years old, so he has a lot of career ahead of him still. But in the year 2034, the active club he plays for is Manchester United. You can see in the bottom of the screen there that he went to Blackburn after leaving Spurs, where he made 72 appearances before going to Brentford for a season. And now, in the year 2033-34, he is signed for Manchester United. There's not been any silverware for Mikey Moore just yet. Manchester United came as Carabao Cup and FA Cup runners-up in the year 2034, so he's got a little bit unlucky there. But yeah, it's really sad to see his potential not quite get to the heights we're expecting for him in real life. But as I said, there's still a lot of career ahead for him. And if you want me to, I can continue simming to see where he finishes up. What about another Spurs youngster that we are all growing to love then? How about Lucas Bergvall? We've all been really impressed with him in pre-season for Spurs so far since joining the club, and we're hoping that he's going to have an integral part to play in the club's success for many years to come. But yet again, it didn't work out for him at Tottenham in this save. He made 68 appearances for the club, scoring just 2 goals, and then he left. He joined West Ham, where he's been for ages. He's made 134 appearances, scoring 18 goals for the club, and he's turning into a bit of a legend at 28 years old. So when it comes to Tottenham players that we all know and love, it has worked out for a couple of them, but for others, it's not necessarily been the case. But what about the squad now? Well, in the year 2034, this is what it looks like. You can probably look down that name and you'll only recognise a few of the players. Bart Verbruggen, of course, who plays for Brighton, is in goal for Tottenham now. Mickey van der Ven and Destiny Udogie are both still at the club. What legends. As is Pat Matassar, who, as I mentioned, is vice-captain at the club. Ansu Fati is still there. As is Oscar Bob, who you'll remember we signed from Manchester City a few years ago. You've also got Wilfred Gnonto and Joshua Zirkzee. Other than that, it's very difficult to distinguish some of the names unless you're a football manager expert who probably plays with these sorts of guys across multiple saves. And that is the history of Tottenham over the next 10 years. So it's a bit of a mixed success, really. We never won the Premier League, which I'm sure will be heartbreaking for everybody watching to hear, but we did finally win silverware. 2 European Cups, 2 Carabao Cups. It's not a bad haul. I think if we were posed with that idea over the next 10 years now, in those exact dates, we would probably take it. That's how desperate we all are to win silverware. You can see some of the highlights over the last 10 years on this page here. Of course, the most recent being Carabao Cup winners. The furthest back being that Conference League win in 2025. And then you can also see something very interesting, and that is Daniel Levy leaving the club. The current chairman left in 2028 and Tottenham were taken over by a consortium led by someone called Amin Jacob. I'm not sure the spending got much better though, despite Levy not being in the frame. And as you can see, they did still finish 4th in the Premier League this season. So it's just been pretty much more of the same as to where we are now. But that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed putting some research in and seeing what happens to Tottenham over the next 10 years. It would be really interesting to follow along, of course, and see what happens another 5 or 6 years down the line. So if you want me to do that, please let me know in the comments and I'll put together another video. Let's hope that we can actually have some success on the pitch sooner rather than later under Ange Postecoglou. A trophy this season would be amazing, but let's hope it's onwards and upwards. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. As I said at the start, it means a lot to me and it does wonders. So thank you so much for all of you that do go down there and click that subscribe button. But for now, that's it from me. I'll catch you in the next video. And as always, come on you Spurs.